This is the knitting news from Knit Happens Teesside for the 43rd week of 2024. The other night at knitting, well, it was a bit of a carry-on because we'd been to the Welly, hadn't we? The Wellington Inn twice, and the second time it was a little bit rowdy and a little bit sweary and quite noisy. So we decided we'd try somewhere else. So we had been thinking about the King's Arms. So we thought we'll try there, and if it's too noisy, we'll go somewhere else. Anyway, it's a little bit of a family pub that does food. And I was a few minutes late. And as I pulled into the car park, I saw Jill and Helen standing in a little archway with the knitting bags, waiting for me like this. And yeah, it was too noisy and there was kids running around shouting and things. So we went to a different Costa than the one we'd been meeting at for ages and ages. It does close a little bit earlier. But when we went in, there was a very familiar face from a Costa that we used to meet at. I'm not advertising for them, sorry. So it's a coffee shop. And yes, a familiar face. And she said, "You're the knitters, aren't you?" We were like, "Yes, we're the knitters." So she said, "Well, if you like, we can reserve a table for you every week if you choose where you'd like to be. And you just have to put your number plates in because the car park's a little bit, they're a bit feisty in the car park with the tickets." So she said, "You can reserve a seat. Just decide which one you want to be in." So she was very welcoming, and we have missed the menu. We've missed the range of warm drinks and the cakes, and apparently it's the old style. So it's a drive-through, but it is really cosy inside. There's quite a few sofas to choose from, and the colour scheme's a little bit more cosy, and we got a very warm welcome. So that's the place we're going to meet from now on, as far as I understand. And because they close at 8 and not 8:30, we might try and get along there a bit earlier. Because 2 hours just goes past in a flash. So Helen was working on a different blanket, and it is sort of like a green, purple and white one in stripes and shell stitch with crochet. And she's an extremely neat crocheter. Jill was wearing her sideways cardigan, and she had matching eye makeup, and she looked absolutely lovely. And I totally forgot to take a picture because I was suffering a little bit with toothache. Unfortunately. Black coffee. Proper black coffee. So what was Jill working on? She had pink 4-ply cotton that was, I think, Rowan. And she was making, a few makes ago on one of the videos, there's like a tunic, and I think it's a Louisa Harding tunic, and it's in a dusty pink. She's making that again in a paler pink. It's got lace around the hem and a neck, a bit of a lower neck, and sort of fancy stitch details down it. So that's what Jill's working on. I was frantically crocheting Tunisian rib, which I have actually tried to film, but I haven't checked it yet. So if it's any good, I might put it in this video because that could be useful. So I was making my jumper, And I finished sewing in the ends this morning, because this is my signature. There's always something hanging out somewhere. It's on the inside, so I don't think it really matters. So I had to learn how to do Tunisian rib. So that's one side of it, but that's the side I haven't chosen, but it's kind of a little bit interchangeable. But the side I have chosen is that, which is very good chunky rib, isn't it? So it's finished. It's made with Toft alpaca, so it's extremely soft and thick. And I haven't blocked it. I will be doing, but I was going to try and take some photographs with it unblocked, and then if it blocks really well and relaxes and makes such a much nicer sweater, I might have to do it again. I'll have to tell a photographer. So that's my Tunisian crochet top down in the round jumper that is made using one of these, but I did have a hook on each end. So I was going with a 6.5mm in one direction, picking the loops up, and then doing the return pass in the other direction with a 6mm and 2 balls of wool, because one ball doesn't work. Need 2. So that's what I was doing with that. I am wearing another Tunisian crochet item. This is the Ugly Cat Shawl, Tunisian version, normal size, made by Neil of Block Magazine. This is now in Block Magazine in the most recent issue, I think, but there will be another one coming out quite soon. But this is in the most recent issue. So it goes like this. Probably showed you before. Beautiful colours. If a little bit sort of, they've run in places. But never mind. It's very drapey. There's a kind of a quality to Tunisian crochet that my jumper's not quite got yet. Maybe just because it's quite thick, a thick fabric. But this is nice and drapey. So if you fancy having a go at Tunisian crochet, I'm assuming this one will be a reasonably enjoyable, fun make. Well, last weekend, me and my husband went for a walk around the headland in Hartlepool, which is very historic and very pretty in the sunshine especially. So I did take some little pictures and maybe little bits of video, but I do have some nice photographs too. And we went in the spelt H-E-U-G-H, pronounced Youth. There's a Youth pier and there's a Youth battery, which is, I think it's volunteer run, and they've brought all the tanks and weapons, and they also have a shed full of rifles and guns and things. But we were a little bit late and we were just in time for a coffee and a cake before it shut. So I think there is an inside coffee part, but we were in the outside bit, and there's picnic tables in the middle, and then down one side there's a big shed at the bottom, and then down one side there's little sheds. And in the sheds there's all these old, like, Victorian chairs and tables and artwork and crochet blankets for you to wrap up in if it's a little bit nippy. So we went in one of them, and we only had half an hour. So we didn't wrap up in the blankets, but I did take some pictures, and we had coffee cake. So it was a homemade sponge cake with coffee icing because, well, it was delicious. But I don't like cake, mostly, because it's not homemade and it's just completely different to me. I just don't like it at all. But this coffee cake was scrumptious. So that was a treat on Sunday afternoon. That's the town hall. Dog's pulling my arm. Them's the boats at the bottom there. There's a mural. So I think that's about it for this week. Some more news, maybe, next week.